Hello everyone, I'm Simon Lore, and today I want to answer a simple question. Will I be playing World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor? As simple as that question may be, the answer is significantly more complicated. To understand the complexity of my answer, let me describe to you a little bit about my World of Warcraft experience. I started playing WoW in the Burning Crusade expansion. I had heard about WoW prior to that point, but I was young and didn't really understand how I could pay for a game every month and continually play it for over years worth of time. Other obstacles stood in my way as well, such as having a very crappy PC setup for the time, and my family not being the most financially sound. If I wanted a video game at this point in my life, I would typically have to save money for my birthday or Christmas and go to my local store and buy it myself. World of Warcraft introduced a number of new elements into my life, such as subscription payment methods and online shopping. Needless to say, as a young kid, I had no idea how these things actually worked, so playing WoW was sidelined until I could grasp these types of ideas. World of Warcraft kind of faded from my thought at that point, until the people over at South Park made an episode based on the main kids playing the game. This episode probably changed my gaming life more so than any other single event I can ever think of. When I watched that episode of South Park, Make Love Not Warcraft, I was 16 in high school and a complete and utter nerd. When I say I was a nerd, think of a stereotypical nerd from any show or any movie you've ever seen, and that was basically me. Now, many other people in my school also watched South Park and saw that episode. Now, their reactions were like, "Oh wow, can you believe how nerdy that is? Haha, they got so fat and greasy. Who would ever want to play a game that turns you into that?" When my reaction to that episode was, I could totally get into something like that. Like I said, I was so nerdy that the idea of becoming what the kids on South Park became as a result of playing WoW actually intrigued me. I was fascinated by the lingo they were using, I loved the idea of playing a game with my friends for hours and hours, and overall, it just seemed like a game and a culture I could easily belong to. As it turned out, I had a few friends in high school who already played WoW. Before I started asking questions about it, they pretty much hid the fact that they played, fearing that it would alienate them from us in some way. But once I showed my interest in the game, they became a valuable pool of knowledge. They taught me how to buy the game, set up my subscription, and even helped me with my PC setup so I could play without terrible lag. And before I even knew what I was really getting myself into, me, my twin brother, and my oldest friend in high school all created accounts and started playing. Now, our friends who had been playing WoW before us served as like mentors. We always wanted to become them in-game because they were so much further than us. But it was because they were so far ahead of us that they didn't really spend a lot of time helping us understand the actual mechanics of the game. As a result, we spent a lot of time leveling our first toons to level 70. And I mean a lot of time. We would level, hit roadblocks, stop, continue again, hit another snag, and then stop again. This went on and off for several months until we gradually hit max level. I remember the first week all three of us hit level 70. It was extremely exciting for us. I remember my first toon was a human paladin named Simon, of course. My brother was a dwarf hunter, and my friend was a gnome warlock. Our first ever leveling experience at that time was a struggle and a pain in the ass. But looking back, it was probably the best time I ever had in WoW, because once we hit max level, we found that there was actually very little we could actually do. I had no idea how guilds worked, or even how to begin raids or even dungeons for that matter. I found myself speccing as a Shakadan and grinding battlegrounds for epics, which took several months. Near the end of BC, I finally found a guild and completed my only raid for the BC expansion, Karazhan. This achievement was made less enjoyable by the fact that my brother and my friend did not join the guild with me, so the raiding was overall less fun as a result. What was amazing in BC was the Isle. Holy hell, that was a fun zone. Me and my friends probably spent more time on that island doing dailies together and just messing around with the world PvP, more so than anything else in that entire expansion. It was simply amazing, and really turned things around for all of us near the end of the BC expansion. Then came Wrath of the Lich King. Oh boy, did this expansion take time away from my life. I remember every detail of the night that game was released. Me, my twin, and all of my friends in school who played waited in line for hours for the game to come out. Even though we went to the store very early, there were still many people in line ahead of us. I remember the doors finally opening and the first nerds going in to get their huge collector's edition boxes. In particular, I remember a fairly enthusiastic gentleman coming out of the store with his collector's edition box, holding it up over his head and screaming at the rest of us in line, "Envy me." Regardless, we got our copies and went home and started playing. This time around, me and all my friends started off at the same level, so there was a lot more cooperation among us. We all leveled, ran dungeons, and became quite skilled at our roles together. Once at max level, we all joined the same guild, had the best raiding experience of our lives. Of course, as with most guilds, there was guild drama. The Dream Guild lasted through about half of the expansion, but near the release of the Trial of the Crusader raid, everything went downhill. Things went sour for some of us in the guild, and I made the grave mistake of leaving and forming my own guild. I selfishly guilted my friends into joining my guild and started recruiting new players. Looking back, I really wasn't the best guild leader. I managed the other guildies poorly, along with mismanaging raid schedules and stuff like that. As a result, we cleared Trial of the Crusader, but were completely underprepared for the final raid of the expansion, the Fall of the Lich King. After several weeks of wipes and raid days missed because lack of players, the guild dissolved and my friends found places in other guilds. I found myself only pugging the Lich King raid, barely beating it on normal mode before the expansion ended. This caused some envy between me and my friends, and overall, the enjoyment of the game went down from there. So, with most of my friends resenting me for the blunder, we entered Cataclysm with the hopes that it could reunite us and reinvigorate our love for the game. But, we all soon found out that Cataclysm was not going to bring us the joy we found in Lich King. Something about the expansion didn't do it for us. I can't tell if it was a result of my actions prior to Cat's release, if it was because of the huge lack in content at the end of Wrath, or if it was because of certain changes Blizzard made to WoW itself. Regardless of the reason, one of my friends stopped playing altogether, and the rest of us, with the exception of one, basically went into hibernation. We were playing, but we were not active players. This went on all throughout Cataclysm. A lack of group gameplay among us, coupled with other responsibilities from work and college, really killed the expansion for us. But none of us ever forgot the unlimited amounts of fun we had in Wrath. So when Mists of Pandaria was announced, we all looked towards that to rekindle the fun once again. Despite cautiously objecting to the fact that people could now play as pandas, we all got the expansion in the hopes that it would cure our Cataclysm coma. But as things tend to be, Mists of Pandaria went down the same road Cataclysm did. We started off fine together, then the game got boring, and one of us quit, then another, and another, until none of us were actually playing anymore. I have found that I continue entertaining the idea of a magical expansion bringing the planets in complete alignment and setting everything right with the universe. But now I know it's just me wishing for nostalgia, simply for nostalgia's sake. Somewhere in my thoughts I still believe Warlords of Draenor could bring all of my past friends back together for another expansion of pure fun. But if I look at it rationally, I realize that Warlords will go down the same road as Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria did. So with all that said, am I going to buy and play Warlords of Draenor? Yes. I don't know what it is, but the pull is too strong for me to resist. Me, my twin, and a few of my friends from high school have already agreed to buy and play it together, but we all know it probably won't last. Then why are we going to buy it if we know it most likely will be a waste of time and money? I don't know, man. This may be a waste, but there's the smallest chance that this could become something special. And I guess that's a risk that we're all willing to take on this expansion. So, there you go. My complicated reasoning behind why I'm playing Warlords of Draenor. I know many of you have your own reasons for why, or why you're not going to play this new expansion, and I want to know why. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the channel, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.